Johi, the Secretary Estate Agents Chapter. I'll be your moderator today for this session. We are going to have a training on building information management. Yeah, that we learn for at least 2 hours. I hope we can have an interactive session where we are going to learn more about this topic. So I will welcome one of us to pray for us, then we can start. One member can pray for us, please.
We can pray. Let's pray. Our Father and our God, we are truly honored and grateful to be in your presence this morning, and we do so with our hearts full of gratitude. We want to honor you this day and pray that and ask that you be with us even as we start this meeting. We want to invite you into our presence. Please guide us, help the speaker to just be able to teach us today, even as we think of how we can be able to better professionals. And Lord God, we want to pray that you'll also help us even to be able to be on time, even for those who are joining us. And we also want to pray that even our IT issues will not fail us for the honor and glory of your name. We just want to pray that you be with us. In Jesus' name we pray and believe. Amen.
Thank you, Rono. Yeah, so I'll briefly introduce the profile of the speaker and the topic for today. Then I will welcome the CEO to give a few remarks. So the topic today is the building information management, whereby we are going to be taken through by architect Ruchika Gajal, who is the founder and director of HiCAD Africa, a leading building information management consultancy firm based in Nairobi. She has over 2 decades of experience in the built environment, whereby she has steered HiCAD in implementing digital transformation, whereby they specialize in BIM implementation and training across Kenya. In addition, they are ISO certified, and they help you set up common data environments, scan to BIM, model health checks, and delivering surveyor-focused BIM solutions, which are tailored for the land, property, and engineering professionals, whereby we fall in that category. She is supported by a skilled technical team at HiCAD who brings strong capabilities in CAD and BIM modeling, reality capture, that is the laser scanning and point cloud processing, audit and review of BIM workflows, and workshops facilitation. Together, they ensure high quality, contextuality, relevant in the training. So I'll welcome the CEO, Mr. Peter Kibet, to make his remarks. Yeah. CEO, you're welcome.
Thank you, Moses. Thank you, moderator. Thank you very much, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to this training. As ISK, we continuously organize trainings and sensitization forums for members, such as this one on building information management, which is a very important training, especially on project management, the A to Z of project management, and ensuring that every aspect of every member involved in a project is well informed and is well aware about the project. So I want to welcome all of you and wish you fruitful deliberations during the training. Asante sana.
Thank you, CEO. At this moment, we'll invite maybe one member of the council who is present to say hi. Then I will welcome Ayub, the chair of ELC, to make his remarks. Any member of the council who is present can say hi briefly. Thank you. In absence of that, Ayub, are you within the meeting?
Yes, Moses, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, you can take it up.
Yes, thank you, Bwana Wanjohi. And good morning, members. My name is Ayub Naburi, Chair ERC, in the Good Institution of Surveyors of Kenya. We are glad this day we are joined by the lady architect, take us through BMI, and we look forward to a very fruitful and detailed deliberation that interact and ask questions that are relevant to the topic. From ERC's desk, we are coming up with a training calendar for next year. I want to encourage members to give suggestions in terms of topics and possible speakers. There was questionnaire that was sent, circulated to all of us. So kindly take time to fill the form, suggest your preferred areas of training or topics, and possibly speakers are able to respond to your training needs accordingly. Otherwise, thank you to the candidates, the 2025 ISK diploma candidates. We are processing the results, and as promised, by the time you are breaking for Christmas, you'll have your results. Otherwise, thank you very much. Back to you, Bwana Wanjohi.
Thank you, Ayub, for that comprehensive update. Yeah, I think it's the right time we move to the next part of the session, whereby I will welcome the speaker of the session today, Architect Ruchika Gajal, who is the founder and director of HiCAD Africa Limited. As we move along the session, please, if you have any questions, you can post them in the chat. Then once we are done with the session, we'll have a Q&A session whereby we can discuss the questions that might arise. And then we see the way forward. Thank you and welcome on board, everyone. Thank you. Welcome, Ruchika.
Thank you, Moses. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Institution of Surveyors of Kenya. Thank you for its members to join us today morning on Building Information Management session. My name is Ruchika Gajar, as Moses explained. I'm an architect. I am the BIM manager and the director of HiCAD Africa Limited. From my team, I'm currently out of country for some medical reasons, but I'm glad to join here with my team. From my team in Nairobi, we have here Eric Otieno, who is a civil engineer. We have Dennis Mwangi, who is our BIM expert and CDE expert. We have Julia Mbathi, our business development manager as well. Dennis, are you able to share your screen so that we can start the presentation here? Anybody from HiCAD team here? Julia, Dennis, Eric? Okay, can you all hear me? Moses, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, loud and
Okay.
clear.
So it's only my team who cannot hear me. Okay. Okay, just yes, we can hear you. Eric, Dennis, anybody here?
Yes, can you hear me, Eric speaking?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
Eric, we can hear you. Please share the screen.
Okay, sure.
In the meantime, what I would like to say, it's very good to hear that ISK has chosen the topic very correctly. BIM generally, in general, people mention the building information modeling, whereas it should be building information management. It's not related or it's not limited only to modeling. It is a management tool and we call it building information management. So thank you very much, ISK, for that. So here we are. I have introduced Building Information Management. I am Ruchika Gurjar, an architect, BIM manager, and the director of HiCAD Africa Limited. HiCAD. Moses gave a brief about us as HiCAD. Here, I would like to mention a few things about HiCAD. We are a BIM consultancy firm that helps companies in the AEC industry drive value through the application of BIM on the projects and within the organizations. Through our building information modeling strategies, we provide professionals in the AEC segment. We are specialized in AEC sector, a collaborative way of creating and managing information, resulting in more transparent and efficient planning, building, and project management from the start to finish of the project lifecycle. We have a team of BIM experts. A few of them are introduced here. We have other team members as well that can provide consultancy, delivery services that will result in a high ROI in your businesses. Our consultancy services range to professionals for AEC sector, including facility managers, developers, project managers, contractors. With an experience of more than a decade, we offer the best in BIM consultancy with a portfolio that consists of creme de la creme of the best architect, contractors, and engineers in Kenya. About HiCAD, as explained, we are a BIM consultancy firm. That's our primary role for the AEC sector. We are technology partners. We are partner with Autodesk for last 12 years now. We are Tekla partners, Tekla Structures from Finland. We are Sketcher partners. We are Leica Geosystems partners for Kenya, especially for 3D scanners. They are our technology partners, and these are the tools we use to implement BIM. Training and certification. We are also the certified training and certification center in Kenya for these technologies. And currently we have been doing a lot of training on the education level as well for a number of TVET institutes, number of university sector as well. So far, the company has been existent for more than a decade, where we have provided the solutions, which are our software, the technology. We have done the number of capacity building trainings and the implementation of BIM. We have worked with government. We have worked with parastatals. We have worked for the private sector, AEC sector. We have done work with Kenya Power. We have implemented BIM on the National Housing Corporation team and their projects. We have worked with NCA. We have worked with Kura, Kengen, number of parastatals and government. We have worked with number of architectural firms, consulting engineering firms, QS firms, contractors, developers, and all that. So that is where our expertise comes in. And as we understand BIM, it's a customized solution. Everybody is at different level in the AEC sector. And our idea is to bring our expertise, our skills to the industry and able to implement the BIM as per the need of our clients. Yes, Eric, next. Yeah, as we said, we have 10+ years industry experience. We are skilled and certified instructors and technical support. We have provided 1,000+ professional trainings, not only in Kenya, across East Africa. Let's start with the BIM. What is BIM? Definitely, as I explained, it's not only building information modeling, which it has been mentioned earlier. And in different journals, you must have read that, but it is more of the building information management. BIM is a digital process for creating and managing information across the life cycle of a built asset. There are people who ask that, is BIM a tool? Can we buy BIM? is it just a technology that they can plug in and they can start? No, it is not. It is a process, and this process is managing the information throughout the life cycle of a project, from the designing or from the concept to the finishing, to the finishing, or you can say up to the facility management level. It integrates 3D model with data on cost, time, materials, and operations. Core principle of BIM is the collaboration. In earlier times, since you all are members and from the AEC industry and understand, the team used to work. There are different stakeholders involved in the project lifecycle. We have architects, we have surveyors, we have QS, we have different engineers, we have civil structure engineers, we have mechanical, electrical, contractors. Number of stakeholders work on a project, and everybody used to work on their silos, and the BIM brings it's a collaboration tool, or it's a process which brings all of them together. So the collaboration is the core principle of BIM process. Stakeholders work from a shared digital model. Accuracy, reduce errors and rework through coordinated data. What it means is, definitely when you work on silos, if some changes have been done by an architect and the QS or the other team members did not notice that, maybe they are working on the model which was shared a few earlier, then they don't have an up-to-date information, and the accuracy has been challenged. And there are times we have come across with such projects at times that there have been some changes in the project in their life cycle, but when it is reaches on the site, the contractor is still using the old model or the old drawings he had. So that is the time we notice, oh, these changes were done, but the implementation time, or when on the construction site, we are not utilizing the correct data, and it brings the errors, it costs the time, it costs money, delays, everything, and back and forth. So accuracy is equally important, and that life cycle thinking from design to demolition, BIM supports. And let's not only also say just the demolition, we don't want it to reach to the demolition purpose, but in fact it supports the decision making, it supports the whole life cycle of the project. Evolution of BIM's evolution. I'm sure there are some members here who would understand that how the 2D drafting, when the CAD or AutoCAD came in early 90s, AutoCAD starting, and some of us who worked on AutoCAD. So a transition from 2D drafting to 3D modeling with integrated data over decades. We are very much familiar of 3D data and 3D tools or 3D modeling now. Addressed inefficiencies and errors in traditional construction practices, and now the BIM is a global standard in the construction industry. Origins of BIM traced back to the 1970s with the advent of computer-aided design, CAD. Early 3D models focused on visualization but paved the way of BIM. What it means in from 2D we liked the idea of 3D because 3D gave us the visualization. Most of our clientele are non-technical people. The developers, we can say, or the people who are investing, they are non-technical, and 3D modeling brought an idea where they could visualize, if as an architect we are presenting, or any stakeholder of the project, whether it's QS, whether it's surveyors, or as architect, engineers, we all used that 3D model as a very good visualization tool for the non-technical people and the investors and developers, as I say. But it paved the way for BIM, because without the 3D model or the 3D tool, we don't how do I put, we don't start the path of BIM. So the 3D modeling was initially the key to bring, and then it paved the way for BIM for us now at this point of time. Term coin, building information modeling, coined in 1992, defined BIM as managing digital representations of physical and functional characteristics of structures. We will be explaining that as well. Next slide, Eric. Standards and best practices for BIM evaluation. Why standards matter? Ensure consistency, reduce risk, and support legal compliance. Facilitate collaboration across disciplines and organizations. ISO 19650. It's an international standard for managing information in BIM projects. So I'm sure you have seen different ISO 9001, ISO, all these practices. These are the international standards. And for the BIM projects, we have the ISO standard, which is 19650. It is you can always Google, there are a lot of information available on these standards, and that's best practice is to use this and understand the standards internationally has been using for the BIM implementations on the projects. Key concepts in that ISO 19650 is information requirement, EIR, employer information requirement. What is employer is the person who owns the project. It is very important as a BIM manager for us to understand the employer. What does the developer or what does the investor or who's the project owner, what is their requirement? So the BIM manager plays a role where he gets, because they're non-technical people, to understand what is the need, what do they want to do, what is their purpose of their project, and we call it EIR. AIR, we have the asset information requirement, we have PIR, project information requirement. So these are the information requirements, the standards we follow from ISO 19650. Then we have the naming conventions and metadata. So naming conventions we use later on in the in our presentation today. Dennis will be taking you through some of the CDE environment from the Autodesk Construction Cloud, and he will be able to show that naming convention is very important as different stakeholders on the project. We give different naming conventions to the different folders, teams, members, and all that. So he will be taking you through with that. Common data environment protocols. Common data environment, it's a common, we chose as the stakeholders or as a team of project, we choose the common data where we will be sharing our model, our information, or where we will be having the project details. So for an example, we have Autodesk Construction Cloud. I'm sure many of you would be familiar to that. So we can use ACC as a common data environment. In some countries, we use Econex as a common data environment. There are many, Trimble Connect. There are many tools available in the market in technology in today's time for common data environment. And as a BIM manager or as a BIM consultancy, we only recommend, we don't dictate, not necessary. We are Autodesk partners, so we must push our client or the project team to use only because we are the partners of that, or if there is any other business benefit we have by selling or training or guiding you on that. But yes, we have very much hands-on practice and on that, and we have given a number of trainings and implementation through ACC. But there are many other tools available in the market, technologies available in the market for the CDE. Roles and responsibilities, different information manager. Dennis will take you through with that as well later. So best practices under this is define clear deliverables and data drops, use standardized template and naming systems. All this we follow the ISO 19650. Next slide, please. This is what I was explaining. What is a CDE? A digital platform for storing, sharing, and managing project information. Examples: ACC, Autodesk Construction Cloud, Trimble Connect, Dialogs, Econex, etc. Other technologies are also available for common data environment in the market. As you have, I know as surveyors, you don't use many other tools, but as even for 3D modeling, you must have ArchiCAD is there, Revit is there, number of tools are, Tekla Structures is there. We have number of tools available in the market. The same with the CDE. So workflow stages, we have work in progress, that is WIP, drafts and internal files, shared folder, reviewed and ready for coordination, published, approved for use on site or by clients, archived historical records for compliance and references. Collaboration example, a road upgrade project in Kisumu, surveyors uploaded topographic data, engineers overlay design models on it, and contractor could access approved drawings via mobile. So this is the collaboration they did on that project. So all this, what I just theoretically explained just now about the CDE, Dennis will, when he's showing you the demo of one of the CDE environment, he will be able to show you how the the work in progress and collaborative, the shared folders, naming convention they are all used. I think, Eric, you have gone ahead. I was on before slide. Yeah, BIM levels explained. I don't know why yeah, BIM levels explained. So BIM levels refer to the maturity and the collaboration stages of BIM. So here we have levels in BIM levels. We have level 0, level 1, level 2, low collaboration. Eric, next slide, please. I'll be able to explain there. All right. So level 0, which is low collaboration. Information is produced with 2D drawings using CAD. Files are being shared digitally as separated sources or information. Many of us in Kenya are still using this. What does this mean? When we are using the AutoCAD drawings, if you have worked on AutoCAD, you will understand it's a drafting tool. It's not the design tool or the modeling tool. AutoCAD, the line does not, anything you are drawing on AutoCAD does not have the property. What I mean by the line is a line. You cannot say that line is a wall. Yeah, it does not have the property. And it's a drawing or drafting tool. And at the moment, we also we are still sharing our drawings have been shared in today's time by either through WhatsApps, through emails, PDFs, or even by Dropbox. That is what the level 0 is, low collaboration. When we move to level 1, the partial collaboration, project teams are using a CDE, common data environment, to collect, manage, and share all the project data. The development of the project and the production of information is a combination of 3D and 2D CAD drawing. So at this point of time, we are also working on the 3D stage, and we have identified our common data environment, and we are able to share it. Next slide, please. In level 2, we have full collaboration. Project teams are using 3D modeling to develop their projects and produce information. So in that one, when we are using the 3D modeling tool, whether it is ArchiCAD, whether it is Revit, whether it is Civil 3D, we are able to put property to our information. If we are drawing a wall, if retaining wall, masonry wall, brick wall, thickness, we are able to identify those two lines when we draw. It's a wall and it has its property. So we are able to use these modeling, and it will generate an what do we call it? The information, its property that is important for us on the project. 3D models with project data are shared using a common file type, which is IFC. When we are I'm sure my technical guys, Eric and Dennis, will take you through this. What is IFC? When we are sharing the drawings, for example, if one of you as a member as a surveyor using AutoCAD, that is 2D tool. And if he is sending the drawing to ArchiCAD, an architect is using the architect, so the collaboration will happen through the IFC. In this way, they are able to put together a unified BIM model. Dimensions related to time, a level 2 includes the 4D, which is time, and cost of the project, which is 5D available in level 2 BIM. So in level 2, you are able to collaborate with the time and cost as well. The level 3, okay, on the slide, somehow it's missing. I don't know why it's distorted. So level 3 integrates all project information, including 4D time, 5D cost, 6D sustainability, and 7D, which is facility management. So these are the BIM levels we have. Next slide, Eric. Now, BIM across the world. We have seen we have seen or we understand that currently many countries across the world has adopted BIM. We have seen across. We have US, we have European countries. We can see here UK. UK started in 2016, BIM compulsory for government contracts. Next slide, Eric. Yeah, so all these countries, they have already adopted the BIM. Some of them have brought the BIM mandate for the government projects, either with the project size or the terms of the cost. And some of the countries are working towards the BIM mandates, toward the BIM program, and adopting the BIM. So these are the countries so far have adopted and successfully launched on some of their projects, or like if you can see Malaysia. So in their, it's for their public projects, they have put in terms of the cost of the project that above this cost, they will be using the BIM, which is a mandate to use this. So that's how they have developed. Even in Africa, we can say Ethiopia is very active currently. They have not yet mandated that, but the team, the Project Management Institute is working towards it. South Africa is currently working on it and very actively. The AEC sectors and the technology partners are joining in together. Universities are also working towards it. And even in Kenya, we are working. In fact, ourselves as HiCAD has been appointed as the consultancy firm to bring the roadmap, working on the roadmap to bring the BIM implementation or BIM adoption for the country. So currently, we are also working on it with NCA. Yes, so I think that is it from my side. And from here, Eric Otieno from my team, who is the civil engineer, civil instruction engineers, will be taking you through for the next few slides. And from there, Dennis Mwangi will be showing you the demo on the CDE environment. And yeah, we are all here and happily here to see number of members of ISK, and whatever our expertise, our knowledge we can share towards it. We are glad to be part of this. Thank you very much all for listening. Eric, I think now you can take over. I can switch off my video and audio. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Director Ruchika, for the session that you've taken us through. I'll take you through the next slide concerning the BIM. Now that we've understood what BIM is and various stakeholders that has been involved in the BIM, the next question as the surveyors and the ISK members is like, how relevant is it? How is the 3D models, or how is the data sharing and the transfer important to me as a surveyor? We understand that surveyors do play a very critical role in every project, from the start to the completion. And your expertise has been able to enable us as the engineers, architects, to come up with the infrastructure, to come up with a building, to come up with a given facility. And as we understand, surveyors do play a critical role from the beginning or the initial stage. When we talk of the land surveyors, where they have to give us the data, they have to conduct the surveying, and we ensure that the georeference is made and accurately to the actual site in which the project will be executed. So for surveyors, we'll see for the first, it enables creation of georeference, 3D models for accurate terrain and site analysis. During the conceptual stage of every project, we as the architects usually design according to the terrain or according to the geographical location of a given project. So we find out that surveyors play a very critical role in giving the georeference or giving the actual location with their data. And with that data, using various BIM technologies, we'll see in the future or in the upcoming slides, some of the technologies that surveyors has been using in various developed and developing countries. We see that seamless integration with the GNSS and LiDAR and drone photogrammetry for precise data acquisition. Those are some of the relevant roles that surveyors and valuers has been providing in the ASC industry. More so when we come to talk of photogrammetry for precise data acquisition, or when we talk about the scanning aspect of it, when we have as-built project, surveyors do play a very critical role in providing the precise data for that facility. Enhancing coordination and verification through real-time and site updates by linking the model or the BIM to the actual environment. Those are some of the roles that we find that surveyors has been playing with the help of the technology. When we talk of ArcGIS and the GeoBeam, we'll be able to understand how surveyors are able to link the BIM model to the actual environment and the real-time or the site where it's supposed to be executed. Supports as-built documentation and digital records for long-term land and infrastructure management. This one, as architect Ruchika said, when it's come to the common data environment, we'll find how the data is being stored so that if anything happens, we can still trace what or the actual data of a given facility. That will start from the survey data to the architect data to the engineers data to the contractors and developers. For valuers, provide rich data model that links building components. As we know, the valuers provide, or the part of the quantity surveying as well, they provide the actual cost or the value of a given asset or a given facility. With the help of BIM, a surveyor will be able, a valuer will be able to give the actual price or the actual cost of a given facility when it's come to the finishing system and the materials that has been used in a given facility. It will be more easier to produce such than the actual or the previous methods that were used, basically, which involves a lot of time work, the 2D, referring again and again. But with a single click from the BIM, we'll be able to generate all these that are the data that is required. Enable life cycle costing, depreciation analysis and maintenance. The other part of the BIM is that it enables us to have the start and end mind. When a project is being executed, just from the feasibility study, we'll be able to know what the project is likely to cost with the BIM. And when it's come to depreciation analysis, the valuers will be able to give or to do the analysis and the simulation to understand how the depreciation is likely to happen. And also in case of the maintenance cost or forecasting, we do have, with the help of the rich 3D or the BIM models, we can understand that a given area will require a given maintenance, and from that maintenance, you can forecast it from the model and you can generate the cost. Since you already have the model, you don't have to go back to the actual facility and get the drawings or you start from the scratch again. Since you have the model, it will be easy for you. Enhance transparency and accuracy. BIM is another transparent, it's like a mirror. It gives you actually what is existing or what has been done, and there will be no addition or subtraction. That's why, or those are some of the major values that as a surveyor you will get if you move to BIM. Why surveyors matter? We have understood that the project fails without geospatial reference or accuracy. It can look good on the paper, it can look good on the designing software, but if you don't have the geographical reference, it will definitely fail because you cannot execute it, or there will be a lot of variations or changes on site because of inaccurate geographical references. This is where surveyors comes in and they provide with the designer the actual geographical accuracy for the project with the location to be executed. This we usually see in the civil 3D another BIM software as well. And as I say, the ArcGIS GeoBeam will also play a critical role. Surveyors ensure correct location. The surveyors do control the levels, and they provide the correct levels even during the site execution, and that's where we usually have the as-built data as well. Accuracy in the early stage means we will have less rework, lower cost, and faster project delivery. As we understand that the project, the fastest project completed on time, and the cost will be saved, and provided the accuracy and the integrity has been provided. So the surveyors do play a critical role in the early stage by providing the accurate data. Survey the foundation for digital twins. As we look into forward, we'll have the digital twins for a given facility, and surveyors will do provide the digital or the geographical reference and the data capture for the digital twins for the other stakeholders to produce an asset data. Now that we've understood what BIM is, our role, and how it's gonna help us, we are going to look at how to start a BIM project. We usually have, from the first stage, is the BIM execution plan, or BEP. BIM execution plan defines what is supposed to be done, the project goals, and the users or the stakeholders to be involved in that project and their roles, so that everyone knows that at this stage I have to do this. It ensures that all stakeholders understand their roles, responsibility, deliverables in the BIM process. And then common data environment. Now that we've understood our role and what we will be doing as surveyor, we know we'll collect the data, the valuer, we know we'll provide the cost of that facility, and then the architects, they will do their design, and then the engineers also, and the contractor will do a given part. And the client knows, oh, this is what I want, they provide that information. Those information are being stored in a common data environment that our team will guide you through on how it's usually being done. And then as a BIM, you must have the BIM expert team. This one comes, you can hire if you don't have that capacity, or if you have the capacity, you can have the in team of the BIM experts to oversee the BIM execution for that project and to ensure the success of that project. In the other case, we find some firms usually hire the BIM expert to lead them. And then you must have the BIM awareness. The BIM experts will be within your team, and the BIM awareness has to be created and everyone understand the BIM workflows. As we understood from the beginning, BIM is not just a tool. It is a process which involves the people or the skilled personnel. They must be aware of what to be done, when to be done, and how to do it to ensure the success of the project. And then information delivery plan has to be executed, what to be given, or who is supposed to provide a given data, and when and who and how. So that's, once you have all these in place, you will be able to start or to go as a BIM to implement a successful BIM project. Where surveyors fit in the BIM life cycle. Now that we've understood our roles, what it needs, now where do we fit as surveyors? We fit from the beginning, as I said, from the feasibility study, or by coming up with a strategy, defining coordinates, identifying the geospatial needs. When you have a meeting for a given feasibility study of a project or a facility to be done, you must define the coordinate system as the surveyor, and you have to identify the geospatial needs for that a given facility to be executed or to be planned well. And then at the concept stage, you have to validate the site, the topography versus the input reality data. Are the architects or are the designing teams following the actual site or the geographical location that you had already set? And then at the design stage, aligning the models to the real coordinates, resolving discrepancies at every stage. The good part of the BIM is that what a member or a stakeholder has done, all of the BIM members or involved in that project are able to see what is happening. As a surveyor, let's say we have a project, a facility to be constructed, and then you have provided your real coordinates or your real data from the site that you've been tasked to do, and then you realize that the level of cuts or the level of fields that are being proposed by the engineers or by the architects are not matching the actual real data that you collected. It is your responsibility to raise an alarm to the designing team at the earliest stage so that we can avoid the costly reworks. And then at construction stage, we usually setting out, surveyors play a critical role, more so in the identifying the levels, how to ensure that the design it will be executed successfully on site by verifying as built. Also, this one, when the structure has already been built, as the surveyors, we usually provide the scanned BIM as well to ensure that what is already there, what has been built, we have a data for it, and you can verify it with the design and versus the cost for the valuers to understand that there is a change for a given place for a given reason, and then they will be able to know the actual value, and then from that they can also have ability to understand what is required to maintain. Our final handover validation, you have to validate the points and also the design versus your geographical reference. And then during the operation stage, as I said, as verifying the as-built, the surveyors will also play a critical role in ensuring that we have the digital twin or the replica of the existing facility. In the BIM environment, we usually have typical workflow in which surveyors usually follow, which we have been revolving around from data acquisition to data processing to BIM integration to construction layout verification. This one is to the high-end projects and also to the as-built and asset information management. In the data acquisition, we conduct the surveying, topography, boundary, cadastral survey using the GNSS and LiDAR scanners. We usually have that we usually use, and also that data can be linked into the Civil 3D if you have the latest version, that is 2026. It usually supports that, and then from that data it can be linked to the common data environment. Capture high accuracy geospatial data through the drones and terrestrial laser scanning, and also importing survey data into the BIM capabilities like Recap, Civil 3D, and InfraWorks. Data processing, surveyors help in the cleaning and processing of the cloud data. That one, when it's come to the scanned BIM, and then generate accurate surface models, digital terrains models, and the site contours, which they help also the architects and the survey or the engineers how to go about the site and the contours management for the actual georeference data to ensure alignment with architectural and engineering models. And now that we've understood what our role is and our workflows, which we usually know, and also when it's come to as-built and asset information management, now we are going to look into a case study. Rare occasions, so one of the major projects that we understand that has been executed here in Kenya, and various roles that the surveyors has done to ensure their success. When we take a case study from Kenya and the region, a case study is taken for Tenwek Hospital, one of the latest of the postmodern facility that has been done here in Kenya, in which we will look into how the BIM was involved from the initial stage until to the final stage, until the handing over, and who played what role in that project. When we look into the Tenwek Hospital, we understand or we know what happened that Tenwek new cardiothoracic Center use international design team and BIM for the architectural, structural, and MEP coordination. Local execution included adoption of site conditions. We know that this project exists here in Tenwek, and we know that it's a cardiothoracic center. The funny part is that it was designed outside Kenya or abroad, usually from the US at the initial stage, and the surveyors played a critical role in providing the actual geographical reference for that, or for the location, for the project, or for the designing teams in the US to do their preliminary design stage. As we talk of the BIM, the team didn't travel all the way from US to come to Kenya and do their site verification or to know the actual site where the project exists. But with the help of the BIM, they were able to deliver a project which came to the success and is now a successful story here in Kenya. The surveyors provided the geographical data and the site verification, and then they provided it to the designing team. And then from the designing team, they came up with a model, the first or the preliminary initial stage of the design, which was done in one of the BIM softwares, and then transferred to Revit, which is a major BIM tool, which was used now by the team here in Kenya and the triad architects. Who ensured that there was a success of that project. Now, the surveyor's role included the site verification, setting out as-built verification to align imported models with the local site realities, a public document highlighted BIM coordination survey tasks as standard as such as builds. Why it matters, Kenya examples show BIM being used on complex healthcare projects, and a neutral case to discuss survey integration during the construction and handover stage. Another case study comes from Konza Technopolis, survey of Kenya establishing controls to enable BIM and GIS integration and future digital twin. What happened is Konza is Kenya's smart city, as we all know. Survey works, which involves the cadastrals and control networks, have been carried out by the Survey of Kenya to provide reliable geospatial foundation for master planning. The program is explicitly aimed to embed digital infrastructure and digital twin concepts, whereby the surveyors, as we said from the initial stage, provided the cadastral and control networks for the designing team, and that ensure the success of Konza City planning. The main role include establishing horizontal, vertical controls, cadastral engineering surveys that will enable future BIM and GIS integration and digital twin development. Why it matters for us is that example where national land surveying underpins city-scale BIM, GIS, digital twin ambitions, and uses the strategic example for early survey involvement. These projects or these case studies help us to understand the critical role that surveyors are playing in the BIM and also the ISC industry, how BIM is being integrated, and then now we have the ArcGIS BIM, and then we will have the digital twin ambitions, whereby the facility which has been planned, we are able to have the digital replica of it. We have Nairobi Expressway, whereby we all know that it came to the success, and the successful of it comes with the early involvement of all the surveyors in major infrastructural projects like the Nairobi Expressway, whereby the surveyors provided the corridor and topographic surveys, ensure the alignment verification, geospatial validation for design versus as built as well. So locally relevant mega projects demonstrate that BIM is being applied across road and civil infrastructure where surveying is essential. And apart from this, to the valuers, now that The land surveyors do provide the data, what is required, how we integrate into the BIM. The valuers, with the help of the BIM, are able to generate the cost and also to understand the changes that will be required. Also, they are able to simulate with the help of the BIM tools on what might or what is likely to happen, and when the worst case happen, what is supposed to be done and the cost that is likely to be involved in such a worst scenario. We have Crossrail, which happen. We have the BIM plus survey control. We have laser scanning and then geospatial asset transfer, a project which happened in London. It's an international project. We have Crossrail used BIM across the design, construction, and asset handover for major rail program. Survey teams provided precise control networks, laser scans for the station refurbishment, and geospatial data integration for linking model to GIS or asset database. As we look from the circle, we usually have the BIM in the center, and we have a budget, or we have the designing stage, and then we start with the planning, you design, and then there's maintenance, the durability, the budget, all this involving the BIM, which was used by the Crossrail project in the London as well. Surveyors provide a role in geomatics for control and monitoring, scan to BIM for station redesign. The scan to BIM provided the as-built data, the as-built verification, and linking BIM model to the infrastructure assets for the registration. We have a case study from the neighborhood, that is Tanzania. We have the Dodoma Government City Master Plan, the BIM integration with the GIS for spatial planning and infrastructure rollout, support phase development of administrative buildings and housing. Now we find a case where the surveyors plays a critical role when it's come to the master planning of the city. As I said, from the beginning, you have to provide the spatial. For the spatial planning, there must be the data for the reference, and for the infrastructure rollout, the surveyors do play a critical role in providing the actual data that is required, transferred to the various softwares like Civil 3D, and then to the BIM, another tool like Revit for the designing and for the facility and the assets management that will come into the CDE that we'll see in the future or in the upcoming presentation. We have the future outlook, the digital twin, AI, GIS, and cloud. As we all know that the current generation is being driven by the mostly of the AI, and as the surveyors, you're wondering like, how can I be involved in the AI? How can I be involved, or how can I be incorporated with the AI in our field? ISC industry is a little bit lagging when it's come to the implementation of AI, because AI, let's say of ChatGPT, is not just about it's not realistic to the actual data. The AI that ASC industry wants is the one which will use the data which is existing from the actual ASC industry. And now, when we look into, we have the digital twin and the artificial intelligence. Let's start with the digital twin. With the digital twin, the surveyors will be able to create live digital replica of their physical assets and infrastructure. Survey will provide the spatial foundation for the digital twins and ongoing geospatial validation to ensure the model accuracy. We have real-time, real-world data versus the live assets, and then enabling the continuous monitoring and also support decision making in the land development, facility management, urban and infrastructure planning. When it's come to artificial intelligence, with the help of AI in the BIM tools will have their own AI, not like the ChatGPT, but it will be integrated within the tool. It will enable us to automate clash detection, quantity takeoff, cost estimation, and schedule optimization. as the valuers, you understand how important this will be for you, whereby you can easily estimate the cost and also schedule optimization. Leveraging data from past projects to enhance accuracy and design efficiency. This comes to the designing team, whereby the past data, the AI will understand how you've been designing, helps you to come with different concepts, and helps you to design with accuracy. And with the accurate model or accurate design, the valuers and also the managers, the QSS will be able to generate the actual cost that is required. Enable intelligent insight for risk mitigation, resource planning, and stability analysis. Another part is the ArcGIS GeoBeam, whereby we'll be able to collect data and also integrate it into the BEAM software as well. We have GIS integration, future outlook, digital twins, connects. When we talk of GIS integration, we'll be able to connect the spatial and geospatial data with BEAM model to provide real-world context, support urban planning, environmental analysis, infrastructure coordination, disaster and response mapping. Our cloud platforms facilitate real-time collaboration, remote access to project data across all the disciplines, starting from the surveyors to the developers. And then centralized model and document within the common data environment. And then in the Kenyan context, these technologies are shaping the future of digital construction and land management, driving smarter cities, infrastructure expansion, sustainable development through connected data and intelligent systems. Now that we've understood what BIM is, our role as surveyors, and the future of the BIM versus the surveyors and the ASC industry, and also to the Kenyan context, as our director said before, that Kenya is in the process of adopting the BIM. Are you ready as a surveyor to adopt it, or are you ready to be left behind within these technologies? With these technologies, now, why are you supposed to switch to BIM as a surveyor? One of the main value of BIM is to enhance collaboration. And you are not supposed to be left behind as a surveyor, being that you play a very critical role in a facility. You are supposed to be involved in every stage of a project, not just taking the data from the initial stage and also just when setting out is required. You are supposed to be involved even in the final stage, whereby you are supposed to do the validation that actually what was provided has been fully used as required, and you are supposed to know the various teams, how they are using your data and ensuring that accuracy. So with the BIM, we have enhanced collaboration where all the stakeholders work together, and that collaborative environment, and then we have reduced errors and rework. When we reduce the error and rework, it means we are going to save the cost, and we are also going to save time, and we'll be more productive in enhancing or in delivering other projects. Increase efficiency and productivity, as we've seen through the AI also, which will be involved in the BIM. The ArcGIS GeoBeam will be involved, and then with the help of the Civil 3D, the BIM tools and Revit, our productivity will be increased, because if a single surveyor or a single surveyor can do 2 projects in 3 months with the help of the BIM and technology, it means you'll be able to do like 6 projects, and you understand how important that one is to you as a surveyor. Cost saving, as I said, from the reduced errors and rework and the collaborative nature, they will be able to deliver projects within the shortest minimum time with the highest accuracy, and that one means that we will save on our cost and time. And you know how you can utilize that extra time and the cost saved to other projects to have a high return on your investments as well, improve decision making. Since, as we've seen from the case studies, let's say from the 10-week, we have various stakeholders from various places, but with the BIM, we are able to know that we are able to make a decision in the early stage that actually this project will fit in this given location. Not that the client tells you have a plot size of this, and then you, as a designer, you start to design, but now when they go to the actually on the side, they find that they are quite different. So that calls for rework as well. But now with the BIM, we have improved decision making, and we are sure, or we are certain that the decision we are making for the implementation of project is accurate. Sustainability and life cycle management. BIM supports sustainable land development through precise spatial analysis and resource mapping. The 7D and 6 and 7 DBIM link geospatial and asset data for effective facility and infrastructure management. Alignment with the international standards. We have the ISO 19650, mainly for the information management. And as a surveyor or as someone who will be qualified, who has the skill within the BIM, you will be able to work on not only on the projects within the national level, but the skill can be exported to even the international level, whereby you can compete effectively with other competing firms or with other competing stakeholders for a given project. Now, BIM, benefits of BIM process, we have conflict detection and risk mitigation, high level cost customization and flexibility, optimization of the scale and cost, easy maintenance of building life cycle because you have the digital replica or the digital twin of that, faster drafting without loss of cost or quality, and then coordination and collaboration. Consequences of less surveying. Now that we've understood what BIM, what it takes for us as surveyors, I'll invite my colleague to take you through to the next slide and to have a demonstration on how it goes with the BIM for the surveyors and the common data environment. Thank you.
Hello, team. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll be taking you through the CDE, the tool specifically that will be going, or the one that we've been using for our projects mainly. I'll be sharing in two ways. Eric, stop sharing. I'll be sharing in two ways. I'll show you how to start the project, and then I'll show you one of an existing project.
Dennis, we cannot hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, so this is our CDE, the environment that we use to do basically the information management, as well as the coordination and collaboration aspect of things. What I'll show you is in two ways. First of all, I'll show you this is the environment when you first come in. Let me stop sharing this. The environment when you first come in looks like this. And this is basically all the projects that we may have or you may have. It has unlimited unlimited storage. So you may have even up to 100 projects from now until the end of times, if I may say. So it's always going to be there. It's always going to be active. So if you start a project right now, 10 years from now or 20 years from now, it will still be available. How do I start a project? It's very simple. We usually start like that and say an example, we are dealing with ISK for today. So I may say ISK building, say this is the project name, building is being constructed. Say this is a project number. And then you choose an account. So when you buy this tool, or basically when you get the Autodesk Construction Cloud, you will get a custom account, which is basically your company's account where all the projects will be hosted. In this essence, it will be coming under HiCAD Africa in this situation. And then I would pick the project type. I'd pick what type of a project are we handling. So in this situation, because I put a building, I may say in this situation, we are doing a demonstration project because I'm just demonstrating. I also put in a template. So this one, for now, I'll not explain that. It usually comes later when your team has already handled several projects. So basically, you have a specific workflow to use on this platform. That's when it comes in. You can as well put in an address. Now, this is also very key for you guys. You have to put in an address of where specifically the project is going to be happening. So an example, I may put Nairobi. You're supposed to put in the address, the exact address. And you pick state or region, pick a zip code, the timelines, basically what time zone you are. If you live, again, this platform is not only for your local projects. If you're handling as well international projects, you may align the timelines because it also has a time aspect into it. So you may align the times in relation to which time zone you currently are. So in this situation, it will be in Nairobi. Something like that. And then you specify the start date would be something like today. When will the project will end? You can say even next year, a time like this is when we estimate that the project end. So some situation like that, then you have to put in the value. And before you put in the value, you can estimate in Kenya shillings. It has a lot of currencies for your estimations as well. So if you're dealing with KES, you put in KES, and I can put in the number of amount that I'm dealing with here, put 1 billion, and I create my project. It takes me into a new place now where I need to include the project stakeholders, who the members of this project are going to be. And I can start with the members, or I can initially start with the companies. So for now, I can say an example. Let me say I had my fellow colleague here. The importance of adding members from this portal is that you can as well control what role they have, the access level, basically what they are able to do inside this platform. So in a situation, and let me put my colleague. Once I add him, I click enter, and in this now I can decide where they're coming from. If I have already existing companies that we are collaborating with, if he's been part of it, I can just pick it. And then the role in this situation, he is an engineer. I can specify the project's level of access. This is where now it comes in to be very key, because the level of access determines what they can access. You don't want people to access your files if they're not supposed to see your files. So in this situation for now, I can leave him under project member. I can choose which products. Now under ACC, what I mentioned, our common data environment, this is actually the common data environment, and I'll be showcasing this primarily. We also have the one that deals with the collaboration aspect, where you will be sharing files back and forth with the other consultants. So if you're collaborating with engineers, architects, and the contractors, these will be very key. And then I have the model coordination. This is where it comes in when you're having coordination meetings, when you are having as well clashes that you want to check. The model validation, is it okay? Is it working perfectly as it's supposed to? So this is where it comes in. So we start with the document management, or basically the CD itself, and then the collaboration aspect, the file sharing, and then the coordination aspect. And then I send the invitation to this guy. He comes into the project. So once he's in the project, give it a moment, it's loading. It uses internet. So this one is a cloud platform, not a desktop one, unlike AutoCAD or Revit. So if you've been using offline kind of applications, it won't work. That's why it's taking some time to load. It needs internet. So here we are. So I can also define what role I am. I'm currently a project administrator, which means I control basically the whole of this project. So under an example, if I was part of the surveyors team, I would be in charge of the surveyors team. An example, our current host of the survey, this webinar, he would become now the host, who is inviting the members, who's controlling the companies that are coming in, etc. So I can as well activate this, etc. So once I have that, I put in an example. I can put in even a company. Let's say ISK. I need that in full. ISK group, an example. Once I have that, I can choose what trade they are. They're surveyors. So estimators. Can put you under earthwork and site excavation. And then I can put a site, country, Kenya, etc. And then I add the company. So this means now anytime if we are to work together again with you guys, you would be part of this platform. I just need to now attach the members together with the company. Now that is just a simplification of how we bring in members, or basically, and also give them the roles of what they are able to handle. Now I'll go dive into the tools, the ones that I showed you, our CDE, this primarily the CDE, the basic one. And as you can see, it has several folders here. I have so much going on in my background. I have where the files are stored. So this is where primarily all the information will be hosted. And it means everything about your project, not just your drawings, not just the survey data. It also means contracts. It also means working drawings. It also means maybe you've gone to site and you're doing a checkup with the site team. So all that information is supposed to be here. Why is it so important to be here? So that, again, remember, if you leave this project and it's done from now, and it's currently under the facility management stage, the team that is there can always come back, trace back to the designs. They can always come back. You can as well, if you're doing renovations in future, you can always come back and trace back all this information, get what is key, and work with it. So an example now, I have so many folders here. I can start. You can see I've arranged my workflow here in terms of folders of each team. So in example, I would add what team is going to be under the architecture. So this ensures that each team has their own folders, and they're currently working on what is relevant inside that folder. This is where I would come, put in and maybe a specific person or a role. If that person is there, I can add a role. So engineer, you can see civil engineer or surveyor. If you have that, you can come and put it there. You can control what level of setting they're able to deal with their files. So within even your team, an example, I'll come here to the survey team, which is below here. You can control inside this team, what are they able to do with the files? Again, remember we are dealing with the files. So what exactly can they deal with? They can be able to view. Those are basically on the higher level or maybe the top C level of people. They just need to view the files. And then we have even up to the level of edit. This is basically the actual people who are working with the data inside their own folders. So this level of control ensures that nobody is tampering with files, and the only people who are supposed to work with those files work with those files. So this is an example. Then I can come into the level of how many number of files can it support. It supports even up to 100 file formats. If you see, I have here as an Excel kind of file format. So in an example, I thought I would bring in survey data in here and can have a look. You can be able to even open up the data and work with it. So this is just on the Excel side. So you can even work with the Excel itself directly, make changes if there were some changes that were to be made. So an example, if I was to change this, I know I'm not supposed to change this, but in an example, if you're working with this, and just a moment. So if you are supposed to work with this data and say you are changing this, so if an example, if you're working with this and you needed to change that, it just changes automatically. And if I leave, that information is already updated. If you notice, I'm currently working with Excel live as it goes on. So even if you are working with other tools or any other thing, you don't have to leave the environment itself. That is an example of Excel. I can as well upload, you can upload any other type of file, photos, videos as well. If you go on site and there's something of a discrepancy, you can as well upload them. An example, I have here a DWG file from Civo 3D, Varro design. I can upload it and we can as well have a look on the way it looks like on the inside. And as it loads, when you have this platform, what happens with information? An example, if I delete this information, or person within your team who's not supposed to be touching this information, they end up accidentally deleting the information. It is not lost. Remember, I told you that you're not going with the BIM aspect of things. You're not supposed to lose any data. So if an example that somebody has deleted it, you can always come back and retrieve that information back into the project. So it's basically a platform that if information has been put right now, it will always be there. Maybe it might be archived if it's not important, but technically you will not lose any information on this platform. Aside from that, I can as well check the activity. If somebody tampers with the information, I can check the activities of who's been touching these files. And you can see I'm currently the culprit of dealing with the deletion on this file. So it has a lot. I had mentioned that you can be able to look at the way that it deals also with drawing files. So this is just imported data into DWG, into AutoCAD that I had done. So it looks like this Varro design. You can, when you're working with the files, you can do so much. If you notice on my right side of my screen, I have these tools that I can be able to add notes. An example, say I notice a discrepancy on the points, perhaps under this location. I can come put text and say discrepancy with these points. those are just basically notes. You can leave it to yourself. If you want to make them public, you can publish them. You can as well make this better, a little bit better. It's too big. So you can as well put notes. This is basically notes. You can publish the notes, becomes public to everyone. And if we say an example, if there are specific issues you notice with your drawings or even with other people's drawings, an example, the architect has shared a file and you notice that the way that they have georeferenced their site is not according to the data that you had given, or basically the site you had given. So how can you raise this as an issue? You can always come to this platform, open up the drawing, and you want to mark a specific location. I can raise issues internally in this specific tool. So an example, I'm having an issue with coordination is where we're having an issue. I specify in the drawing, this is where the issue is, and it goes directly as an email. So this is immediate. The moment that I initiate it, it's going to be immediate. I can say discrepancy of site information with ARC model as an example. I can leave it open until it's resolved. When it's resolved is when you can close this as an issue. Then I can choose who it's going to, can give it a full description. You can put all that, the wordings of the whole issue you're having. And then I can come and assign it to the relevant people. I say it's supposed to go to one member in my team. You can say this is the person who's supposed to receive it. It goes in as a mail, so it will be immediate. The one issue that happens when you're having issues between consultants is that you'll send perhaps you have to call them, they are not available. You have to send an SMS, they are not available. And also you cannot trace back this information. With this, you'll always come back, check who you gave it, what time you even gave this information, because I have an activity log of when I started this issue. You can see it was started this, so they can never say that they never received this information. It's always going to be there. You can specify that it's supposed to start today, and I'm giving him a due date that he's supposed to finish this issue by tomorrow. And I can attach other drawings if you have contracts, if you have maybe building codes that they're supposed to follow, or whatever that they're dealing with in that situation. You can attach any type of file, a photo, video, whatever. So you can come here, choose a file from my computer and attach it. I can add extra information if I want to, but that is how you create, you coordinate with them basically on your project issues. So remember, it's always going to be stored. So this information will always be there. If I come here to this other side, it's still been saved, and I have so many issues. It's always going to be saved. So you can retrace back to an issue that was pending and it needed to be addressed or was addressed, and you want to trace back how it was addressed. So that is one way. Also, when you're having, when you're dealing with reviews, so you have a specific workflow. Perhaps there is a document that you're sharing. It's supposed to go to the project engineer. Maybe from the project engineer, it goes now back to the project manager. It goes then from the project manager, it goes to maybe to the client, the developer. So there you can create such reviews inside this platform. So you can create like a hierarchy, and you can categorize them according to what type of methodology you may follow. So an example in this, I can create an approval workflow between two people. I can call this survey data validation. And give it, this is an approval workflow to check the validity of survey data. Then I can initiate who's the initiator. In this situation, I may put me as the person who's initiating, or the person who's handing over. In this situation, the person who's dealing the data would be the initiator. I come into one step here. Who is supposed to be the first reviewer? Who will be reviewing the information? I can put it as here, survey person 1. Don't mind my language. Survey person 1 is the person who is supposed to review this. And then I go to the second person, perhaps is supposed to be the project manager, to approve. You choose people who are dealing with this. Can be even multiple people reviewing each step. You can put a deadline on the review of the documents. When, how many days are they supposed to be reviewed? And also, are we dealing with working days or calendar days? So such a workflow, and I can choose once the documents come to me, what kind of approval or wording am I going to use on the documents? So here I have approved, I have rejected for situations when you reject the documents. You also have approved with comments. I can also add and say make corrections. As an example, come here, finish up, and I can save this as the process. So each time, whenever I'm dealing with survey data, say an example, I'm dealing with the Excel file that I was just showcasing a moment ago. I wanted to give this to the person who's supposed to review. I can come here, use the process, this survey data, supposed to be improved. I can see the people who are supposed to approve, give it a review name. This in this situation, I can say road design documents for approval. Then it goes to be submitted. It goes on to each and every person in this team to check. And as well, I can see any other members. So if your bosses or executives are supposed to see these approval drawings, maybe on a viewing level, then you can put them, you can associate them. So basically, it's like a CC of an email. Then put a message to notify them that the approval workflow has started. It goes on to the next person, goes on to the next person for approval. So that is just one. It has so much. I can also show you guys when we are dealing with now the design collaboration. Remember that we mentioned that this platform is also doing the collaboration aspect. And if you notice, I have a shared folder here. I'm able to see all these folders because I'm a project admin. Remember, I mentioned that a project admin has full access to the whole platform or the whole project, and it means they can add members, remove them, give permissions on what level of access they can have, etc. But as a project member, you'll find an example, if you're inside your team, you have surveyors here and land valuers. So under your team, not everyone will become a project admin. Only one person will be a project admin. And in that situation, how will they be able to see the information that the architects has, the structural has, or the mechanical is sharing? How will they be able to see that? That's why we have this folder. So I have this shared folder. This is basically where all the information between the consultants is being shared, and it's all being made available by this tool, which is where now the collaboration happens. Now, under this platform, it has so many other aspects. If you notice, I have meetings. I can do even an email right here about a project. I can do reports. So it's all about collaborating. I'm waiting for it to load so that I can show you how it shares information. So currently what I'm seeing is basically from the architecture team. I'm assuming I'm the architect in this situation. This is basically the information. All this information is what I can share from the documents basically that we just saw. I can as well switch teams. If you see here, I have like a timeline and I have teams individually. Under here is where now all the content that is being shared is being recorded and also being stored, basically. So you will have a trace of the project timeline of information being shared, and there can be so many. Yeah. So an example, say I'm coming from the survey team and you want to share the information. perhaps you want to share that, we want to share that DWG or Excel file. So what do? I come here, create a package, which is very simple. I come in and choose what am I sharing. Can start with our, just a moment. I can start with our DWG, perhaps that is what I'm sharing with the architects and the engineers. I can as well share the point data. I need the point data. Can add it here, add document. This point data, I can add it. So once I add it, I save this information and now it's ready to be shared. The only thing remaining is to just click share. I can give it a description that this civil site with point data. Once this information is shared, I'm going to assume now, let me switch teams. I'm able to switch this again because I'm a project administrator. This is the power that they have. As a project member only, I cannot be able to do that. So as an example, you may see now I've switched, perhaps now I'm under the architecture team. So what is the architecture team is seeing? If you notice, I'm able to see these two here, or basically here under shared. Do you see this shared? There is a white icon here. If I hover on it, I can see it's under November, and something was shared on 11/12, which is basically today. If I click on it, I can see this is the information that was shared. I can consume it, and now I'm assuming any other part of the other teams, architect or a mechanical engineer, electrical, or basically all the other teams, I can consume this information. So back and forth, this information, this control, or basically this platform, helps you control what you're sharing and who you're sharing this information with, and basically what level of access these people have to your information. So even if it's still a collaborative tool, or basically a common data environment where information is flying back and forth, you still have a level of control within your teams. So when I come back, a moment. So when I come back to my files and I check under shared, and I check under the survey team, I'll find that this was shared a moment ago, which is 11:42. So basically everything that I just did. And then from the other teams, they can be able to take this information and use it with it. And that is just a brief overview of basically what the tool does. It has so much. It also has automatic versioning. We don't have enough time to showcase that, but it has automatic versioning of the files that you may have. If you notice, I have version 1 here. If I upload the same file again, it will become automatically version 2. And you can always go back, retrace back to a previous version, use it. It will have the whole history of your versions. So it simplifies basically your workflows for you to concentrate on only what you're supposed to do inside the project. And to close out on our presentation for today as HiCAD, the key takeaways, number one is that basically our surveyors and land professional works engineers or whatever, they are able to use BIM in their workflows and be able to transform their work. Aside from that, the standards ISO 19650 are supposed to make, or basically help you become more consistent and more efficient, so that your quality still remains the same. ISO 19650 is like the police, or basically the cop that ensures that your information is following a right structure. And then we have the common data environment. That is what I just showed you a moment ago. That is a must. If you're doing BIM, that is a must, because there should be a central location where all the collaboration and all information is being stored. And the future is going to be bigger with even AI being introduced into the market. So the better if you start right now, the sooner you start right now, the better. And where can you start after this? Number one, you can involve us in terms of your skills. We help train BIM skills. We teach you the process itself, basically what to expect, and also how to look into a project. You can as well engage with each other in terms of projects, so we can be part of your projects and we can implement BIM. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining us today. Any questions? We are leaving some time so that we can have questions.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis and the team, for the comprehensive presentation. I think our members now, those that didn't know what is BIM, at least they have a good concept, and or rather a grasp of the concept and what it entails, and especially the role they can play in this whole technology system. So we've come to another session of Q&A, whereby we are going to take a couple of questions. Maybe I'll check in the chat if there are any, then I'll pass them your way. Then you can try and address the same. We can have like 4 questions, then we move to the next session. Yeah, so one of our members is asking, how much is the training? Then another question is the cost of the software. Another member is asking whether BIM software is available. And yeah, maybe you can respond to those as I pick the other that will come. Hi, Dennis, can you hear me? Dennis, Eric.
I can hear you. On my screen, I've just minimized it. I'm just looking at the questions.
Yeah, so the first one was the cost of the training.
Or the cost of the training. So what we usually do is we have to first sit down with the person, or basically the team. We look at what they want to achieve in terms of project-wise, or basically on a personal level. Then we can be able to customize the BIM kind of training for them. Remember, BIM is not really a tool. It's more about a workflow. And inside that workflow, there are tools. There are maybe you're dealing with Civil 3D, or perhaps you're dealing with ArcGIS, and you know it to a certain level. So you also have to incorporate that information internally so that we can give you a comprehensive type of curriculum or training, which is custom made for you. So for BIM specifically, remember it's a process, it's not a tool. So that one we have to sit down with you, then we give you now at the conclusion stage, now we give you the fees, we give you the curriculum, and then you can come back to us.
That's great. Yeah, the other one was the availability of the software, which I think you've said it's more of a process and not a tool, but maybe you can shed more light on that. Whether can people be able to get this software?
Yes, so with the softwares, again, it also depends on what software you want. We may start an example with the ACC one, that one we're able to provide. If you're looking for something else, we can recommend or we can as well point you to the right direction if we are not able to provide that. But yes, we are able to provide the tools.
Thank you. Another question is a member Gashanja is asking, how can AI-driven data analytics improve decision-making in BIM-based construction planning, setting out, and construction phase?
Can you repeat the question, Eric? I'll answer.
Okay, how AI-driven data analytics improve decision-making in BIM-based construction, planning, setting out, and construction phases?
As we have seen the value of BIM, we'll start with the first phase, that is the planning phase. The BIM and AI, the AI enables us to have the predictive analysis, whereby we can analyze the historical project data for forecast cost, timelines, and resources. As I was talking about the AI that will be introduced in the AS industry is not an AI like ChatGPT. It will ideally use your data. It will be embedded within the software. It will track to your past data, what you have been using, to help you to generate or to predict the future or what you want to do currently. It helps in the planning stage, design optimization. AI helps you to identify the early conflicts within the model, and also you can do the risk assessment. The AI, as we know, it uses the algorithm and the machine learning as well. So with that, AI will be able to help you in the design optimization. And then when we talk about the setting out phase, I know it's a critical point for the surveyors where accuracy matter and it's not a theory. It's actually what is on the site and what is supposed to be set out. Now, AI integrates survey data with the BIM models to automatically detect discrepancies between the model coordination and the site conditions. That's where it will help you a lot when it's come to the AI. But mostly when it's come to the setting out, it's much of your work as a surveyor. AI will just help you in aligning or in the integration of the data, and also in the layout. We know, like the laser scan or the laser technology, you'll be able to use it during your setting out. And then at the construction stage, when Mr. Dennis was making a presentation, you somehow saw something called Autodesk built also as built. AI analyzes the drone imagery and sensor data to measure the real progress against the BIM schedule that you made in the 4D. When some of these things you will know much deeper when when you dive into the BIM and understand what the 4D BIM is, and that's where you will know how AI will help you track the progress, and also AI help in the quality control and resource optimization as well. The other question is, how can BIM improve post-construction phase, which is the longest in the value chain, right?
Yeah.
As we've seen, having a centralized data, and we have what is called as a digital twin. BIM serves as a digital twin. A digital twin is the replica. Let's take a case study of the worst case we've ever had of the Dusit 2 attack, right? Here in Kenya. Now, when the Dusit 2 was attacked, we know you at the designing stage, you had already simulated what is likely to happen in the worst case, how people are supposed to escape and what is supposed to be done. But now it has been brought down, and then you want the same facility. Now, with the help of the centralized asset information or the digital twin, you can regain or you can rebuild the same asset without involving all the clients or the stakeholders who are involved in the designing stage. You already have your plan, you have everything. Nothing was lost in terms of the plan. Now with that centralized digital asset information, the digital twins contains all the design, construction and equipment data that is required for you to regain that. And then for the facility and maintenance, you can predict the maintenance with the BIM if you link it with the Internet of Things, the sensors and AI to predict the equipment performance and schedule. And also you can also do the energy and performance optimization with the help of the BIM as well. I hope I've answered.
Yes, Eric, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've come to the end of the Q&A session. I would want to thank the presenters, that is Architect Rujika, Eric, and Dennis, for your ample time and the insightful presentation that we've had. And I think our members who maybe didn't know what's BIM when we are starting the session, at least they have good insights of what it is, the role that they can play, where we are in the adoption, the future, and how they can be become BIM ready in the different parts of the profession. So on this moment, I will welcome Leonard Miner, who is our new membership manager, to make a comment, then we'll end the session. Thank you. Welcome, Leonard.
Great. Thank you, Moses, and thank you everyone for participating in this training and a very wonderful presentation from the facilitators. We really appreciate. I'm glad to join us in training, and I'm looking forward to enhance our training so that we can all learn and improve in our professions. And I wish you all the best. We hope to share with you the materials once this session is over, so that you can review, and in case you have more questions that comes, you can always direct them to us. So thank you so much, and we wish you a good day.
Thank you, Ronald. So once again, I want to thank you, the presenters, the chair ERC, and the members of the ERC for bringing us such an insightful training, as well as you, the members. We couldn't have this training without your participation. And as a closing remark, in case you have any question, projects that you can collaborate with the HiCAD team, you can email them to info@hicad.co.ke, which is within in the chat. Yeah. So with that, we've come to the end of this training. The presentations will be shared with you from the Secretariat team. Yeah, so I think we'll say a word of prayer, then we can close the meeting and members can leave at their own pleasure. Let's pray. Dear Lord, we come before thy presence this moment. Thank you for this ample time that you've given us. Thank you for the training that we've had. I do pray that, Jehovah Father, you may help us to integrate the skills and the information that we've learned into our day-to-day operations and in our profession. King of all glory, thank you even for our presenters. And even as we start the rest of the day, may you be with us, bless us, and be with us. In Jesus' name we do pray and give thanks. Amen. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, Simon.